Okay, so to start up Microsoft Excel, you'll usually find an icon on your desktop for the Excel app. And if you double click on that, it will open up Excel. If you don't see this on your desktop, you can also click on the Start button on your computer and type in the word Excel, and immediately it will find the Excel app, and double clicking on that would open up Microsoft Excel. Now, once you open up Excel, you'll see there's three different tabs: Home, New, and Open on the left. So the Home tab is basically providing you with access to some commonly used functions. So you can see on the top here it says New to create a new workbook, and if I click on the blank workbook, it'll open up a blank one. Or it'll also show some recently used templates that I've used. So these are predefined workbooks or sort of pre-structured workbooks based on certain templates. We'll look at that a bit later. If I click on, and at the bottom here, you'll also see all the files that you recently opened. So if you want to work on a file that you worked on quite recently, you can simply double click on it here and it will open up. If I go to the New tab, it basically shows me a blank workbook option, some recently used templates, but you can also search here for online templates, which we'll do shortly. So remember, templates are basically pre-designed spreadsheets that you can use for various purposes. So for example, if you're looking for a budget format or a calendar format or any type of format, you can simply type in a keyword over here and you can actually search for that, and then you can use those templates as a starting off point to work from. If I then go on to the Open option, this is basically to open up files directly from your computer. So I could choose this PC, for example, or I could go and search my OneDrive, which is the Office 365 shared drive, similar to Dropbox. So you can actually store your information in the cloud, and but you can also go directly and find things by browsing on your physical hard drive. Okay, so I'm going to go to New, and let's look at the template feature. Let's say I was looking for a calendar, and if I type in the word calendar and press enter, it then searches online templates for a calendar. And you can see there's a lot of different options here that you can scroll down on and have a look. So for our example, let's just assume we were going to use this particular one over here, an editorial calendar. If I click on it once, it then tells you a bit more about this particular template, and we can click on the create button to effectively use it. So I click on create, and you can see it's opened up a new spreadsheet, new workbook called Yearly Overview Editorial Calendar, and it's got one sheet in it, which is the social overview sheet. So I can obviously make further changes to this, or I could use it exactly as is if it meets my requirements. So now, just to do a recap of the different parts of the Excel window, on the top here you'll see there's some icons. This is called the quick access toolbar. So if there's any functions that you use quite regularly and you want to be able to access them quickly, you can add them over here into this quick access toolbar. This particular area lists the name of the file, so we can see this one is called Yearly Overview Editorial Calendar 1. There's also a search bar here if you want to look for any help or you're looking for any function within Excel. The menu area is referred to as ribbon. So this whole area over here is called a ribbon, and in the ribbon each of these options are called tabs. So you've got a home tab, an insert tab, a draw tab, and so on. And under each tab, you'll notice that the functions are grouped together. So you can see all of these icons are sitting under the clipboard group. So there's a clipboard group, there's a font group, there's an alignment group. So remember, it's basically the whole thing is called a ribbon. Under the ribbon, you basically have tabs. The tabs then have groups. So drawing tools is a group, touch is a group, convert is a group. And within each of those groups, you've then got specific functions or features that have been added to each group. Right, then you have this area here which shows you the currently selected cell. So you can see I'm in column C and I'm in row 4. I was in row, so this is column C, row 4. So that's cell C4. So as you move around, it shows you the current cell. This area is also called the name box because you can actually put in custom defined names, which we'll look at in a later course. And then you effectively have your sheets listed over here. As you can see, there's one sheet, but if I click on the plus, I can add multiple sheets. So this workbook, which is the whole file, can be made up of multiple sheets. So we'll go back to this particular sheet. This area over here is referred to as the formula bar. So this is where we could type in any values. So if I just typed in my name, for example, you can see I typed it in over here. Once I pressed enter, it populated into the active cell. All right, so this is just some basic recaps. We also have at the bottom here the status bar at the bottom, and there's some quick functions you can do. You can change the layout. So this is currently a normal layout. If I click on that, that's basically called the page layout. So you can actually see how it would print on different pages. If we were printing it, we can obviously change the way we want to print. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but we'll look at that later on. And then you also have a page break preview, which is this view where the blue lines actually show where each page is going to be. So this is page 1, page 2, page 3 if we printed it. Obviously, we wouldn't really want to print it in this way because it wouldn't be easy to read. We'd probably change it, but this just shows you what the current settings are. So I'm going to go ahead and click back onto the normal view here in the status bar at the bottom. And then you've also got a zoom, so you can actually drag this to make it bigger or to make it smaller. Remember, this doesn't actually change anything except the way you're viewing it. So this is just creating how big it actually looks on your own screen. It doesn't mean that it will print bigger or it gets bigger in any other way. This is just dealing with your view option. And this zoom over here is also found under the view tab in the ribbon. If you go to the view, you can see here's the zoom. So I can click on that and I can choose a percentage. So let's say I chose 75%, which is smaller. You can see that's much more smaller. Or if I clicked zoom and I chose 200%, that could be very big. So you can see that becomes a lot bigger. Or you could just click on this to jump to 100% quickly under the zoom. So if I click to that, it does it 100%. And one thing that I find quite useful is the zoom to selection. So let's say, so how you do it is highlight an area. So you click on the first cell, A1, and then let's drag and say we want that to actually fill up our screen, just that portion. So once I've got that highlighted by clicking and dragging, I just click on zoom to selection, and you can see now that part effectively makes up the whole screen. So it's a quick way to get to a zoom that you like without having to enter a percentage.